Hey, what's going on, people? I'm gonna wait for you guys to join me. 9 o'clock on the dot. Time to get it in. Wednesdays with Wes. Let the games begin. Whitaker, thanks for joining us. First up, I see you. That's what's up. Confidential, what's going on? Dr. RG, what's up? Dr. RG Allen Wilson. Nikki, Nika, what's up? Ayan, what's up? It's a beautiful Wednesday night, and thank you all for joining me. Nika be free. What's up? What's up? What's going on? D West, Dorian, what up? Morgan, what up? Lexi, what's going on? All right. So thank you for joining us. This is Wednesdays with Wes, and I'm Donovan Hitchmaster Wes. Hitting you up. It's 9 o'clock, so you know how we do it. Wednesday with Wes is just, something that we do in between our events. What event is that? The relationship script. We'll talk some more about the relationship script, all right? And, well, let me talk about it right now. So we got the relationship script hitting ATL October 4th. October 4th in ATL, we're going to be touching down at Sweet Lounge. It's going to be off the chain. If you're anywhere in that neighborhood, any part of Georgia, I think you should just go ahead and descend upon Sweet Lounge on October 4th for the next episode of the relationship script. This episode is called Through Thick and Thin. What do men really want? But this is a conversation, so this is not a men's only event. Let's not get it twisted. Ladies, we need you to come out. Fellas, we need you to represent. All right? I will talk for you, but I'd rather you talk for yourself. So make sure that you guys show up. Anyway, this Wednesdays with Wes, we're talking about love. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about light. And I have a guest that's going to be joining us very shortly. And she's very talented, very well known. And I hope that you're able to glean from her some great insight as she shares her perspective. Now, you always know that we're not prescribing everything for this show, right? You know that. So what that means that whatever question you have, go ahead and ask it, and we want to answer it, all right? So we just remember that. So if you're so brave or brazen, go ahead and put that question in the thread, and so that we can answer that question, whatever it is. All things relationship, we discuss, we get it down, only mature audience, okay? So if you're a child, I need you to go. If you think like a child, I need you to go, all right? Go play somewhere, go check out Nickelodeon or something like that. This is a mature conversation, all right? So again, Wednesdays with Wes every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And if you checked us out before, every Wednesday I get additional questions in the DM. So I have some of those questions here, and of course I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask some of those in between time if that so happens to be the case and nobody's asking us any questions right now. Devorah, I need you to join me by way of invite, so make sure you do that, please, all right? So that we can go ahead and include you in the conversation. And this is going to be a great conversation this evening, all right? So shout out to everybody. Miss Missy, McFly, you said put down the childish things, right? That's right. So anybody who's thinking childish or who can't handle the mature conversation, I need you to exit left, all right? All right, so without further ado, all right, to this thread. I'm waiting for her to join us in a couple of seconds, and we'll get this conversation underway. There she is. What's going on?
What's up?
How you been?
I'm good. I'm here.
All right.
How have you been?
I can't complain at all. I was just down your neck of the woods the other day, spending some time with my princess, but also fine-tuning, all the details for the event, the relationship script. So, I was down there by Sweet Lounge, just hammering out all the little details to make sure it's on point.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited.
Good. So for those who don't know you, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce you. This is Devorah's story. Okay, she's a multi-talented woman, entrepreneur, and mother, and someone that is, has a lot of different hats that she wears in the course of a day. So as we're talking, of course, everybody that's part of our audience, you already know whatever questions you have, you can pose them, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that we answer the questions. But today's topic is about life, love, light. It's about legacy, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So at the relationship script, we talk about all things relationship, but relationships they go into a number of different packages, not just between your significant other, but also the relationships you can have with your family, at the workplace. All things relationship is what we discuss. So as someone like yourself, you're a plus size supermodel, and you do it real big.
Supermodel.
Hey, look, you're all over the place. You're on billboards and all that good stuff. You're representing products. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem at all. No problem at all. So what's it like in terms of all the different, the different hats we have to wear when it comes to, relationships? Let's say as a mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like when you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, you're doing so many things to make sure you keep a roof over your head and that you move from survival to success. What's that like when it comes to, being also a mother?
I mean, to put it, to be frank, it's hard. It's difficult to try and juggle everything, especially, I mean, I can't even pick one out. I mean, obviously the most important relationship I would think would be the one that I have with my son, but the relationships that I have around me are equally as important because those relationships are what sustain me. The positive, you have to have like a strong support system. Like my relationship with my family, my relationships with my closest girlfriends, like my relationship with God, like those are all things that I have to maintain in order to maintain myself in general, in order for me to be the best mother that I can be to my son.
Okay.
So it's a lot. But it's continuous work on every end in regards to all of those things. Trying to, but not overextending yourself. Like it is important to maintain all of those different relationships, but it's also like I would say the most important relationships for me are, I think all of those different relationships that I listed are very important. But like for me, like I said, my son, God is top, and then the one that I have with myself is the most important. All of those other ones are like around the center, but what's the center is like me, God, and that's it. And I even put my son on the outside, because if I don't have this stuff in the inside right, then I can't even contribute.
Everything falls apart.
Absolutely. So
okay. So those other relationships, if I heard you correctly, those other relationships are like the village, right? Right. They help to kind of keep you in a certain space, keep you healthy in a certain mindset so that you can be at your best. Is that right?
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
So when it comes to now from a dating perspective, in a relationship perspective, right? How does that now impact? Because of course, obviously, you just now said it. There's God in you first, and then we go a little bit further out. There's your son. You go a little further out. I'm assuming it's the village, right? Those that you hold real close to you. Hope you keep it down, right? Right? So those are the ones that let you know you still just like stop playing. You still that big head from around the way, even though I see you on the billboard, right? So with all that now, how do you now factor in that other layer in terms of from a relationship standpoint?
It's as equally difficult, if not harder. Honestly, my schedule, it makes it hard to date, but it's not impossible. I think for me personally, because I have done a lot of self-development and spiritual growth, like I know where I am as a woman. I know exactly what I'm looking for. So I don't waste a lot of time. And so like I'm open to it. So I date, here and there, but it doesn't leave a lot of room for the guys who aren't really sure about whatever it is that they're trying to do. And even if they don't, I feel like a lot of men don't know that they're unsure and they're just kind of like, oh no, I know exactly what I want, but they really don't really know what they want. And so I think as a woman, that's where it's really important for you to understand who you are, so that when you meet a person, if they're not on the same page as you, if they're not equally yoked as you, then you don't have to waste your time on that. So for me, like, yeah, I have a very busy schedule and I fill it up as much as I want to or need to, but if I had a significant other, it would be nothing to make that time. But me personally, I just haven't met anyone in specific that I'm just like, this is who I'm dedicating my time with. But I do make time to date. Like, I do have time for it. People can make time for whatever they want to make time for. So that's a myth, you know, about like people just being so busy. Like, you can do it if you want to. You can. I've done it. Like when I'm trying to date someone, I will do it. But in regards to, like, you know, it's hard for me to dedicate my time to someone if I don't feel like they're worthy of it. Because again, like, I'm a busy woman, so like the person that I probably spend a lot of time away from is my son. So if you're not on it in regards to like being a man, it's like I'm having to choose, like, am I gonna spend time with my son now that I have some free time, or am I gonna hang out with this guy who I don't think that I'm sure about whatever it is that he's looking for, or is it do I choose between hanging out with my girlfriends, do I choose to hang out with this guy who's not really serious? That's kind of, you know, it's easy the choice is easy is what I'm saying. Like, I have the time, but I just, you know, I don't use it loosely.
Okay. Do you find yourself in those situations, like, you know, especially on the front end, you talked about, you know, meeting certain standards, certain requirements, certain things that you have in your mind, being very clear about what it is you want. Do you find yourself communicating that up front, or having to do that a lot up front versus, say, for instance, like a more natural way, if you're talking about, say, for instance, the average person, you know, as they go on, say, multiple dates, right? They unravel more and more of who they are and what some of their interests are. Do you feel, because of all the other things that you have going on, you know, in terms of your career, being an entrepreneur, those types of things, do you feel like it makes more sense to give more information up front as a result of that, or do you kind of let it, you know, come out organically a little bit?
I give as much information that feels normal, because, you know, I'm not a weird, awkward person, so like, and I wouldn't want to make anybody else feel that way, especially like if we've actually made it onto a date. Like, I'm not gonna make it weird for you. If I pick up on something, I'm like, yeah, he's not really what I'm looking for, then I'll still continue or whatever. I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. But I feel like just normal interactions and normal conversations, you can kind of get a foundation and get a feel for where people are. But the things that, you know, aren't necessarily said, I do try to divulge a lot of information about myself, because I'm an open book, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste anybody else's time. So, but more than likely for me personally, if I'm on a date with you, then you probably already know, like, the most important things for me that are probably deal breakers. Like, you probably don't hit any of those unless it's something hidden, like finances or something like that. But I don't, you know, that's for another discussion. But
Fellas, you heard that, right? Don't even come with that. Don't even come with that fraud game. Like, don't do it. Don't save all your chips up for that one amazing date, only to go bust on the second one. Don't do it. Don't do it. You heard it.
Oh my God, that needs to be a whole conversation, like a whole conversation in regards to, like, I think I saw somebody post about it today, and they were saying is lack of financial readiness, is that a deal breaker for you? And then it was just talking about this, like, it was this text message, and this guy sent it to his woman or some girl that he was dating or whatever. It didn't really give a background, but it was a man texting a woman, and he was basically saying, like, hey, I know we were supposed to go out today, but I don't have it. I could go to the grocery store and pick us up something, whatever. And she, like, the post was basically, how would you respond to that? And like I said, you should do a whole entire
but since you brought it up, since we here now, like, I'm just saying,
I don't want to go. So, I don't want to go there.
So no, what say you? No. I mean, the boy, you read the text.
Okay.
You read it
Okay.
and it's like, yo, look, I'm gonna go to the fresh grocer. I'm gonna get some, you know, some stuff. I'm gonna cook you up this
So,
amazing meal. What are you
right,
saying?
right. Okay. So this is my thing. First of all, I need more background in regards to that one scenario. I'm gonna give y'all the two different ones. So one would be that we've been dating a long time, and my man, not a dude that I'm dating, my man hit me up and was like, "Babe, I can't really spend a lot of money tonight. I'm not really trying to go out and spend a lot of money. So do you mind if we eat at home?"
Hmm.
Absolutely. Why not? Save some money. I mean, why not?
That's
The other
different, right?
one, that's the first scenario. The second scenario for me is like, if I just met you, if this is our first date, don't text my phone and tell me that you don't have no money, because you shouldn't be dating. If you
You
don't
heard it
have
here. You
money,
heard it here first, fellas.
I mean, now
Fellas, you heard it here first.
if you're just looking to casually date someone, for one, you can find different ways to do that. But if I say, like, I'm gonna tell you a from divorce story, I'm looking for a husband. So if I'm looking for a husband and you want to be a husband, you got to have some finances. I'm not saying you have to be rich, but you have to have some type of consistency. You got to have some type of foundation. You got to have some stability. I got a whole kid that we got to feed. I'm gonna be hungry too at some point. So, like,
You heard it
we
here,
gotta.
fellas. Fellas, you heard it. Everybody's hungry. What are you gonna do about
We
it?
all hungry. We gotta
Everybody,
eat.
everybody.
Plus
Look, I'm
size.
hungry right now. What are you gonna do about it? Like, you gotta feed me too right now. Like,
Right,
everybody's
right.
hungry. Okay.
It's not even about like splurging. It's not about like taking me on trips. These are just, if you can't afford to take me
Basic.
out on a date. And not to say, but then there's more conversation, because it's like, you don't have to take me we don't have to go to the fancy restaurants or anything like that. You don't have to take me, fly me here. I want to get flued out. Like, it's not that important for me. But like, I mean, we can do the get creative, like, hey, let's just link at the park. Let's do a picnic at the park. Let's work out together. We can do all of that. But if at some point courting does have to take place. Like, I need to know that I'm worthy. I don't have to have it every single time, but I need you to show me at some point, like, okay, one, that you can romance me, and two, that if, like, that, I mean, we got to do something out. We can't just be at the park every day. You know what I'm saying? At
Got you.
some point,
Got you.
I'm gonna need some air. So,
Got you, fellas. Listen, if you're looking at your budget and the entertainment line is red and it's in parentheses, that means you're not ready to go out. You just gotta chill. You gotta put something in there. All right. So you heard it here first. Now I see a question from Jam Down
yeah.
Lady. She says, so if a man does not know himself, should you take the time to help him figure himself out? You want to take the first stab at that question?
Wait. What's the question? I'm trying to find it. Okay, say,
Jam Down Lady.
so if the man does not know himself, should you take the time to help him? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This ain't Build a Bear. Like, this ain't Build a Man.
Yo, she said,
you
build
gotta,
a bear.
listen. It's a woman and it's a
Yeah.
man. We are two different, we're whole. We should be whole when we meet each other and we come together like this. I can't be half of me and then be trying to come over here and be like, well, let me go get the other half, because no, I'm gonna only be whatever you create for me. I need to already be established of who I am. I need to understand who I am. I need to understand what I want. I need to know what I'm looking for. I need to know my weaknesses. I need to know my strengths. And then that's where your other half comes in. So, okay, my weaknesses, I'm not super affectionate or something, but then he comes in, but he's affectionate. And so we meet each other in the middle, not like you ain't got nothing. And then I gotta build you, like, here, why don't you do this plan? Why don't you, let me write this up for you? Let me do it. I don't have, like, we can work together, but like, I'm not here to help nobody figure out who they are.
Got you.
Not doing that.
You're
I
gonna
have a whole
walk side
kid.
by side. You're not gonna
Not,
create a puppet
sorry,
master type situation, right? And my
not.
answer to that again is, if you guys, if I'm with somebody and they don't know themselves, it's two ways to it, right? So the regular, just like Donovan response is like, no, I don't have time. I'm not in that space, because at the end of the day, I don't know who I'm going to be dealing with. The Coach West kind of response, where I'm saying to myself, you know what? This person might be going through something. They could have gone through something early, right? Which many people do. whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, things of that nature, and they tend to repress who they really are, right? Repress those certain situations, and there's other personalities that are developed as a result of that. I would strongly suggest that person, especially if it's in the early stages, to just go ahead and get some help. If it's in the later stages where it's like there's a facade that they've had, or a mask that they've had on for so long, and what I thought was them was not really them. As a result of many years and some experiences now, that mask starts to crack, and you realize, oh my God, this person is not really who they say they are. Right. In that situation, I would stick around to assist you through that process, because I do understand, you know, that's a more serious issue. Mental health is real, right. And it's not everybody that's crazy. It can be, you know, again, some sexual abuse things and all that other stuff. So I do think at the end of the day, though, if somebody's just there like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Right. I don't know
that part.
I'm a little, I'm not in my 20s anymore, not in my 30s anymore. So I'm going to have to say pass on that. And I agree. So, right.
No, I agree. And I think when you were talking, it made me think of just baggage in general. Like, I'm not saying that if you met someone, they were a great person, but then they came along with some other things, because we all have baggage. We all have emotional baggage. So the way that I am is deep rooted in something that happened for me, whether it's like how I was raised, an experience that happened to me. There are roots to every single thing about us as people. And so when you're dating, that's going to come out. Like, you're going to learn things about people, and it's always something deeper. Like, it doesn't always have to do with you. And so sometimes you are able to work through those type of things, but I don't think that, to me, is categorized in, I mean, in my head, I don't consider that me trying to help a person figure them out. Like, I feel like that's completely normal. Like, you're never going to meet a person that doesn't have baggage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
agree.
That's just not going to happen.
We're all damaged goods. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's where communication has to take place. That's where understanding, that's where therapy has to take place, going to counseling together. People, okay, how do we feel about counseling here? Counseling, anyone? That's when counseling takes place. Don't wait until, y'all are, about to get a divorce trying to go seek some counseling. Like, that counseling is totally normal. And I think people should really be going like, okay, if you're in a serious relationship, y'all should be in counseling. I don't know who.
There you go. No, say it one more time. Say it one more time.
I feel like if you're in a serious relationship, you don't waste your time and go to counseling with every person that you're dating, because that's stupid. But if you're in a serious relationship and you guys are like, this is long term for us, go ahead and go to counseling. Even if it doesn't work out, you're going to be in a better place. He's going to be in a better place. You guys can understand. Like, I went to counseling with my son's father before we decided to part ways. And, in our relationship, we had, issues with fidelity and all that stuff. And what I learned through counseling was, it didn't have anything to do with me. There was nothing wrong with me. The fact that he needed to date multiple women and do all this other stuff, that didn't have anything to do with me. But as a woman, I internalized a lot of that. Like, whoa, like, what's wrong with me? What am I not doing in the bedroom? What do I need to do? Like, like, as if I was inadequate, and it had nothing to do with me. It was something else it was deep rooted, and it had nothing to do with me. So it's like, those things can be, you can discover those things in counseling, and it's not always just that's gonna come out. Like,
I totally agree. In relationships, you should get those relationship checkups. We get all kinds of other types of checkups. Your car gets checked out, right? Your house can get inspected. We all got all types of checkups. Why not your relationship? So I totally agree. PYT Net said, as a professional woman, how do you make time to date, and how would you vet these men to determine if they are worth your time?
Oh gosh. How do I make time to date? I feel like we hit on this a little bit, but like I said, I think knowing what you're looking for and knowing your own worth, you'll save yourself a lot of time. That's just point blank and period. And I mean, in regards to like your schedule, you literally will make time for whatever you want to make time for. Just like you make time for your you know, to go to work, you can make time for yourself. And sometimes dating is part of making time for yourself. Like that's it's life. It's a normal part of life if you're single only if you're single. Don't y'all be out here talking about divorce. It's a normal part of life to be dating and you're in a relationship. Don't do that. That's not right. Anyways, but yes, if you're single, dating is completely normal, and you just have to make time for it, just like you would make time for yourself. Fit it in. Again, know what you're looking for so that you can cut. If you don't have a lot of time, there's no time to waste. Like, we just need to get straight to the point, but don't be rude about it. Just kind of like, you know, go on the date. Just go have a good time. Even if it's not the man of your dreams, have it. And don't make people feel weird because you don't like them or you're not attracted to them. Just enjoy yourself, have a good time. And then from there, you know how to proceed, because if that's not what you're looking for, then there's no need to.
So are you saying that you should entertain someone that
No,
you really
I'm
no?
saying that, okay, let's say, for instance, me and you were conversing, like, just say we met on social media, and just via the conversation on social media, I was like, oh, he's a good catch. But then when I met you in person, you was like short, you didn't look like, you catfished me, right? So it's like, dang, this is not what I'm looking for. But I'm here. I'm going to have a good time. I mean, it may be a little bit shorter than I would have anticipated had I really been into what I saw. But, you know, there's no need. And that's one example. But then just say, like, you are who you are. You look exactly how you look. But our vibe is just completely different,
right,
you know, in person than it was on the phone. It's okay to just enjoy the moment. It's okay to have a good time, have your drink, have your dinner, have some good conversation. You should be able to converse with anybody, whether you're attracted. You never know. It could be, we connect business. Like, you never know. Just as long as the person's not weird, just have a good time. Go home, talk about it with your girlfriends, and then next. You don't have to
hear that, right?
go on it.
So you're out on a date. You don't spill the vibe. Don't get the fake call from your girlfriend that there's an emergency. Don't do that. Don't swipe to the left or to the right.
Rude.
Don't do that. Don't put on the sweater to cover up what you was originally said you was going to be wearing, and put on a hat. Don't do that either. No games. Just ride it out, okay? Yeah. So Lydia said, you know, do you recommend a coffee date as a first date? What are your thoughts?
Coffee dates are good. Honestly, that will cut down on, I know a lot of guys like dates like that because, again, if y'all don't hit it off, then he hasn't spent $100 on y'all's first date. So, you know, I hear a lot of guys like, hey, let's just link up for coffee. I don't even drink coffee personally, but I think now that I'm a little bit older, I would probably go for a coffee date because it's nothing here. It's no alcohol. It's no hookah. It's no music. You know, it's just me and you. If we don't vibe, we don't vibe. And then I know from there, we can just go ahead and exit.
As is, no frills, just straight up black and white. Okay, so who is Kaylee said, courting needs to take place from the beginning. She said, courting needs to take place from the beginning. I don't know about courting. I mean, I think dating first and then you transition into courting, because dating, you can date a couple people. You can have your little coffee dates. You're just getting to know them, see if there's a vibe or whatever. And then at some point, when you say, you know what, someone is actually worth me actually investing more time and in certain instances, more money or whatever, then you can kind of go down the path of courting, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I think that this is my best friend, so I can pretty much assume her position. But I think that she's probably coming from a place like as if you were someone that you're interested in, someone that is pursuing you. Like, they're interested in you. They know what you're looking for. So not just a casual dating, not just like, oh, let me take you on a date, but like, let me court you. Let me show you how a woman should be treated from jump. You know what I'm saying? But I also think in general, you don't have to know I think courting could potentially take place in those casual settings, but it doesn't have to continue. Like, you wouldn't continue to court someone if, like, we went and had coffee and it just didn't work out, you know what I'm saying? But you have, like you said, the casual, like, once you go there with a person and meet them and link up with them for the first time, you have to, you got to meet them to figure out if this is somebody that
Right.
you know, you could actually date seriously or whatever, whatever. So I feel like, I just feel like men should just have their manners and be using them from jump, and women should allow the man to do that from jump. Even if it's not somebody that you're interested in after the fact, like you can still, you know, allow, like, I'm going to let you open my car door. I'm going to let you, you know, do just the gentleman like thing, even if it's just for a brief moment. I feel like you should do that just because you're a man. I feel like that's what it's just
Yeah,
a part.
I totally agree with you that in terms of who you are, I don't think you should change. And I think the minute that we start getting into strategy, is the first step is in the wrong direction. You know, you start getting into strategy like, well, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to save this for that. In terms of how you normally flow, I think you should
Yeah,
just go ahead and be yourself. The sooner you can be yourself, the sooner you
the
can
best.
find out whether or not it's real or not. Because I think often we have our representatives meeting and
Yeah.
they meet and they pretend, and you're pretending, I'm pretending, and then it's 6 months later, it could be a year
Yeah.
later, and then eventually
Yep.
the mask comes off, and you're wondering like, who is this person? So I see Kirby Dre. What's up? You're asking the question. What about the first impression? Shouldn't be so extreme that it feels like, you know, it drops after the first date. I agree. You know that you know, sometimes, right, when guys are in that courting mindset during the dating phase, they just go ahead with like the finale, everything. They want to go heavy with, you know, you eating here. They blow their whole budget for the year on this like this
Right.
great impression, and then right after that, it's like, yo, what happened? We having cheese sandwiches and iced tea like with no sugar. Like, is that what we
Yeah.
doing right after that? So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree
Yeah.
that
That's
be careful, be careful. All right, there's a lot of catfishing, not just physically happening, but also financially
oh,
happening out there.
that's deep. Woo.
And Lydia put it out there asking me the question, you know, what's my take on the financial piece? I totally agree in terms of fellas, if you're not there financially, at the very least, what you can do is just be transparent. And as my colleague, Dr. R.G. Allen Wilson would say, have a courageous conversation. You meet someone, you're interested in them. However, financially, you're not in a space where you can do some of the things that you'd like to do. Perhaps you're working on a particular project. It doesn't mean that you're broke. You know, if you're buying the property and right now you normally do go to that Del Frisco's or that Brazilian steakhouse. That's normally really how you do. But right now you can't blow $300 tonight and do all that stuff. So maybe you have the conversation with her in terms of saying, you know what, I actually have plans. I'm in a certain season, and you manage expectations. What say you?
Right. I was just gonna add in, when you first get to know someone, but this is just me being just a genuine person at heart. Like, when you meet someone, and this is kind of going back to what you're just saying and what we talked about in the very beginning, like, there's no reason, if I just met you today, there's no reason, and if we want to go on a date tomorrow, no reason for me to know your financial situation. I'm just being honest. Like, if you're broke, I'm going to find out. And if you have a lot of money, I'm going to find out. But don't let that first thing, like, let me get to know you as a person first so I can figure out whether even the rich you I like or the broke you I don't like. Because you could be broke, like, you could be, like you said, there could be a reason that makes sense why you're broke. Like, you could have just put down all your money in this, or not all your money, but like put a whole bunch of money into this stock or something, like made this huge investment or whatever. I not know that. But then, okay, if I was just going off the fact that you're broke, then I'm going to miss out on a good guy who actually has his mind in the right place. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
But then you could have a whole bunch of money and still be a horrible person. So, like, I don't need to know how much, I don't need to know what's in your bank account, is what I'm saying. I need to know what you look like on the inside, because that, to me, as divorce story, that's what's gonna be the determinant of it all. Like, yeah, we do gotta have some money to live, you know what I'm saying? But do I need to know that what you like? It's just some stuff, like, I feel like it should just come after a certain point. And I just think that if you give the information too prematurely, then sometimes it will kind of I don't know. It's just like, I
No,
don't want to
it
date you
can
for your
definitely
money. You
impact.
know what I'm saying?
No, it can definitely impact because sometimes, you know, especially even when someone gives uh, intimate information too early, sometimes you may actually feel a little bit off by the fact that they're going so deep, you know, especially when you haven't actually committed to having a commitment or going that deep with that individual. So they could be a little bit further along in terms of what they're willing to talk about. And that can be a little bit offsetting. But I see Father Drew, he mentioned you really don't know yourself unless you're in a relationship, which presents a mirror to you, or a mirror for you to really see, you know, what you can't see for yourself, and have invested in, you know, in therapy. And I agree to some extent that, you know, being in a relationship, or even being in a relationship with friends that can help expose some of those, what I would call those blind spots that we have. We all have blind spots. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how in touch you are, what your interpersonal skill level is. At the end of the day, we all have a blind spot. And so being able to have relationships, whether it is an intimate relationship or even in terms of having a circle of friends that really can be honest with you and talk to you about what your blind spot is absolutely spot on, Father Drew. I see a lot of other people just, what are some other comments we said? Kirby Dre talking about therapy first. Relationships should not be practiced in figuring things out. You do need to be in a healthy place, Kirby Dre, in order to be, you know, dating. So you don't flip out, go 0 to 60 real quick based off of a comment or a gesture somebody made because you haven't healed. A lot of people do that, so let's be careful about that. All right.
Who is D West? Who is D West? Because he is killing me.
My brother D West. My brother D West. That's really
No,
the other D West. That's my brother. So what is he saying?
He's saying a whole bunch of funny stuff to me. And maybe it's not funny, but it's funny reading it after the fact. No caked up makeup or drowned in perfume. First date, gunzo in a homeless shelter and give out food. That's not funny, but that's good.
That's dope. He's showing you got a good heart, right?
Yeah.
And if you're broke, you're showing people that are broker than you, right? That's bad humor, but that was kind of funny. So I'm sorry, but that was... Y'all get it, though.
Yeah, they get it. Someone, Edwards Rhonda said, I met a guy that just talked about his house and money like that was going to make me want him more, I guess. Nope. I mean, hey, some girls actually, that turns them on. And so that's why it's women who are looking for deeper things. It's difficult for us because I feel like that's just the society that we live in now. Like everybody's looking for, you know, what's hot, who's driving what is he wearing, what shoes he got on.
I agree. I agree. There's a lot of transactions jumping off in terms of how you know, people interact with one another. Social media definitely you know, helped to create this kind of culture, if you will, where we're swiping to the left or right. We're very transactional, and right now there's a huge handicap that usually exists as a result of that, and that is the ability to create deep, meaningful relationships, because our threshold, our attention span, our patience, our due diligence, like it's all at like these abysmal levels, which is very unfortunate, because it takes 2 seconds for us to say, you know what, I don't like what she said, I don't like what he said, you know what, never mind, there's so much more, let me just go back to looking again. Like, you know, not enough energy into making something work. So
yeah.
And D West, I hear you, brother. I hear you, bro.
It does turn women on. I got 5 bathrooms, moisture.
Well, I think, again, it goes back to people that are, you know, what's your priority? And for a lot of people, especially, you know, there's some people that they hear about how much money you have and all this other stuff. And so security is a big winner, right? So, you know what, I'm going to feel secure. I'm going to have a certain lifestyle. I finally got that, you know, the opportunity to be in this nice house and to live how I've always seen myself. And that may be the attraction. But I think at the end of the day, most people at some point will come to the realization, like, that's just material. And I know people say, well, that's easy for you to say or whatever, but it really, I think at some point it'll fade, you know, just like that nice car you wanted. that clothes, the clothes you needed to wear or you need to buy, at some point it'll be just in the corner somewhere. It'll be something that you just don't even pay too much attention to at all. And then
And
what
if
do
you
you
have
got?
all that stuff, it's fine. It's nothing wrong with it. Like, if you can have money, that's amazing, great. Then, I mean, because what's the number one reason why Black families are being separated? Because of finances. So if you got the money, that's amazing, but just make sure that you good on the inside too, because then, I mean, the money's not going to keep us together. It's not gonna, you know, I mean, if we can't communicate effectively, if we're arguing every second, if you don't know how, like, it's, but for some, again, I'm different. Some women it works for, so I'm just speaking for myself. But
No, I hear you. Wise Lady says, I find online dating to be more difficult now due to non-transparent individuals. What is your take on online dating and tips to putting yourself out there online?
oh, that was long. Read it again, because I can't see it.
Let me start over.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, just messing around. I find online dating to be more difficult now due to non-transparent individuals. So what is your take on online dating and tips to putting yourself out there online?
Oh, that's tricky. I feel like as much information that you can give, it's difficult in person, it's difficult online. Are you talking about, I would be curious to know if you're referring to like an actual dating app site, or if
Yeah.
you're referring to Instagram, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and I hope if you are on the dating sites, hopefully you're on the ones that you have to pay for. Cause me and my girlfriend was just having this discussion the other day. I feel like the sites that you have to pay for are a little bit more filtered than the ones that are free. Because dudes that just trying to have sex or something like that, like they're not going to go on the website. Well, some of them are that thirsty, so some of them will go on there to pay. But, it's less likely that you're going to go on like 5 different websites to, and pay monthly fees or whatever. If you're just trying to have sex, like you could do that on one of the free ones or whatever. So I feel like it would be, if you're going to do that, go to the ones that you would have to pay for. So hopefully that will give you a better selection. Definitely be honest about what you're looking for, because again, it's no point in, we don't have to waste time. It's 2019. There's no reason for people to be dating, without being with, looking for, having the right things in their viewpoint. Like it just doesn't make sense at this point. So yeah, just being honest about what you want. Don't wait. I don't know. I feel like the same thing applies to as you would if you were in person. Just being open, being honest about who you are, what you're looking for, and don't waste your time. If they don't.
And please use up-to-date pictures. I'm gonna say that one more time.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, people, this is a PSA. Stop it. Okay, stop. Pictures from 2019, not pictures from 2000. No. We're not doing that. Don't touch up the pictures. We're not doing that. No. And listen, just stop. Everyone stop. Stop catfishing each other. Like that's cruel. When somebody rolls up and they see you and they like, well, what happened? Like, was there a quantum leap that just took place? Like, explain this to me. So people, be honest and put your energy out there that you want back. So if you put your real size there. Like if there's one of those apps where you got to put your height, stop adding 2 inches. Like, come on, you're going to find out at some point. Be yourself, be comfortable in yourself, and understand at the end of the day, you are enough. And have the courage so that when you're having conversations, that it's not a matter of how you manipulate, a perception of yourself in order to be accepted. So for many people out there that may have some of those hangups, it is time to see someone, to talk to a trusted person about some of those challenges, because you really are enough, regardless of what you think you look like and all that other stuff. As long as you're keeping yourself up, you don't smell strange, you have a fighting chance. You have a fighting chance. Father Drew said, dating after a certain age is difficult for a man because women are willing to settle based on your ability to provide. So that's coming from, I'm assuming, the epidemic called sugar daddyisms. And yeah, it goes down. I mean, people, but I think it goes back to the same thing, and that is, if you can be honest about where you're coming from, you might actually get the response that you want, as opposed to manipulating, and acting like you really about something. There are some guys out there that they're dating, and when they're dating, they just want to have a good conversation, want to interact with someone, have a mature time, and not necessarily, be with this whole, fake presentations and all this other stuff. Sometimes the truth actually, while it might hurt a little bit, meaning, hey, fella, you're not as sharp as you looked back, 20 years ago, but you're still out here, you having a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. Leave it where it is, right there. You don't have to go further than that. Don't get your feelings hurt. Built Up Real Nice said, good question. You should never give too much information, though. Okay. Thanks for joining us, Rob. We appreciate that. D West said, online dating is fun, but let your mind speak for the person. What? Don't let your mind speak for the person. Okay, D West.
Don't let your mind speak for the person.
Okay, so you should listen more is basically what he's saying. Okay, I got you. All right, women are willing to grow to love you if you're able to provide. Father Drew with more shots. I hear you, Father Drew. I hear you.
Oh, God.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting comments. Beauty and the Peacock said, initiate meeting them in person in a public space. Body language can only be read and seen in person. I totally agree. Yeah. Even though you can do a lot of FaceTime and all this other good stuff, that's great. But you want to read all of the body language, okay? And seeing someone in person, I understand there are people that are doing long distance dating and all that good stuff. That's not a problem at all. I think that's beautiful. But it's still, at the end of the day, I still think that's only two-dimensional, to be perfectly honest. Chemistry, being in person, and getting a sense of how, you guys gel in that space, I think, really becomes a telltale. What are your thoughts, Devorah?
No, I definitely think interactions in person will tell you everything you need to know. Like, you can have good vibes via text. You can have good vibes, like you said, FaceTime, even on the phone. But then once you get in person, you'll know. You'll know.
I agree. So, a couple other comments about those pictures. I forgot about the filters. You're right. I'm continuing my PSA. Stop with the filters, okay? Just kill it. Stop wiping away every wrinkle. The reality is, and I'm not on a serious note, I understand this, beauty is, and the attraction and all. I get it. But the reality is when we come with our representative, right, it's like having on so many things that I never really get to see the true you. And that's a problem, because in that same situation, you're looking for that true person. So be daring enough to show some of those dents, show some of those flaws, because the reality is that in most relationships, and this is a fact, in most relationships, close to, I'm saying marriage now, about 70% of those issues you have are not going to go away. Meaning that there are things that are going to annoy you about your significant other, and they're not going to really be solvable. It's about you, whether or not you actually have enough love for that person, and whether or not those things really cross over into the boundary of like the non-negotiable section. But you get there quicker if you expose it quickly, like as opposed to 4 years later or after you get married. So show some of them dents, people. All right, take some of them filters off, and if someone is still looking at you with your, with your one leg longer than the other, and that one cheekbone that just slides a little bit north, or the other one, it's okay. At the end of the day, we're all perfectly imperfect. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And Built Up Real Nice said, woman have an entire new face in the morning when you wake up, and when they take that makeup off. Yo, stop with the shots. Fellas, I appreciate y'all joining us, though. I really do. I really do. D West told me, I've been catfished so much that I don't keep my hopes up for looks. It's all about vibe. Okay, so do y'all both show up on the first date like wearing paper bags? Explain that to me, bro. Explain that to me, all right? Explain that. But I get it, though. I mean, I think the reality is that there's so many of us that really have a serious aversion to rejection, and I totally understand. But
So
at the
you
end of
think
the day,
you think that's what it's about?
I think it's
Rejection?
about rejection. I think it's about, or if you want to call it acceptance, which is the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think to some extent they can be so compelled with who it is that they're attracted to that the idea of just being whatever that they think that person would be most responsive to takes over the idea of just being themselves. And so many times, you find people jumping through hoops. We talked about from the dating side of things. They see you and they're saying, you know what? I can't come with this, Applebee's money. No, I got to come with the Fogo de Child money. Like, I got to come right. And they present that and they do that thinking that, that's really going to get a good response. At the end of the day, if they really in the Applebee world, like, or Red Lobster world, like, be yourself, be comfortable. And at some point, if you say, you know what, that's not my style, that's not my taste, then be okay with the fact that at some point you will meet someone who's okay with that vibe. And I think we get obsessed by trying to make it all connect because of the initial attraction versus understanding that you can be attracted to somebody, but that's not it. You can love someone, but that's not it. Like, there's so many other components to it that actually really make it work.
Yeah.
So everybody's responding to my comment about smell strange. Yeah, listen, you can see that person. No, so hold on, I'm the only person out here in this space that saw somebody interact with, like, was like, oh wow, they nice, and then you. Like, what? It's only me.
Oh
Okay, well,
God.
all right, well, I'll be the only one. But again,
you can't hear them respond back, but I'm pretty sure that these dudes are.
Yeah. I know. There's some people out there like, come on, I know I'm not the only one. But yeah. So, lots of comments. Anyway,
comments. They having like a whole conversation down here.
Yeah, they all cutting up. Yo, Rob, hit me up when you get in the city.
I have their preference.
Go ahead, read that again.
Nothing wrong with some makeup, LOL, and everyone has their preferences, lace fronts, wigs included.
Listen, I'm not dissing the beauty community at all. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, let them see the organic, the real version as well. So one thing that I love
at some point.
But if at some point is like the day after the wedding, no, like stop. Like just stop. Let's not do that. But I agree. I mean, women, y'all got so many different looks. That's a beautiful thing. I'm just saying at the end of the day, let the dude find out what you really actually look like when you're not looking like a spy. Like, that's all. You know what I'm saying? Just we just want to see who are you. You know what I mean? But no, the reality is that I think some people do go and do the most, and it's to each your own, right? But I think you should really do some digging in terms of if that person that you're dating has never saw you, like, or seen you, without all of that.
What about the people that don't like, who, if they haven't had sex or they don't spend the night at each other's house, like, how would you still like expect to see them like without their lace fronts, or like how do you do that if y'all haven't like progressed to that point yet?
Well, I'm assuming that there's a rest period or even a rest stop for the lace fronts, right? I'm assuming that isn't there like a gas station somewhere where you can just kind of put it on the pole for a second
at my
and just
house,
like,
at my house,
huh?
At my house or the beauty salon.
Okay, so then that's what you should do. That's
Hmm?
what you should do then. You should go ahead and say, you know what? Let's meet at the salon. Let me show you the before.
No,
right?
sir. No, sir. No, sir. You tripping.
All right. Maybe not that.
You tripping.
No, maybe not that. I'm just saying, you don't have to go that far.
It has to be a natural happening. If you stay over to my house and we we get whatever, then that's a possibility. But unless I just happen to be walking around with it off or with a new hairstyle, like, how else would you see it?
Well, you could just invite somebody over for dinner. It doesn't
No.
have to be anything.
I'm not coming. You are not getting invited to my house for you to be able to see me without. First of all, I'm gonna have it on. It's dinner.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Listen, and if having it off will not allow me, right, to be able to enjoy dinner, you're right. It should be on. But I think that people should at some point, like early enough, have a conversation where they start to actually take off all the layers. Like fellas out there, even now today, fellas with the fake, hairstyles, like with the dreads that like were drawn on, like that are in the salons now longer than ladies. Like y'all too, like stop. At some point you gotta peel that thing off and let them see the scalp. Like real talk, what you're really working with if you're really bald. Like
nah, you're not about to see the scalp, honey.
No, I'm saying for the fellas. I said fellas.
Oh, the scalp. Yeah.
For the
just
fellas,
cut it off. Cut it off.
It's okay. Let it go.
That's too far. That's gone too far.
Gone too far. But listen, we got to do a part 2 to this.
Wait, this is a good question. Hold on. I'm sorry. This last thing, and then you can do whatever. I'm done. So Kaylee has a question, but I'm asking because it's in line with what we were just talking about. If you are getting involved with someone, should a woman feel insecure about taking her wig off if she spends the night? Boom.
Listen,
answer the question.
Yes. So look, it's right there.
Put
the wig right there on the nightstand, right? And rock out. Yeah, like if it's gotten to that, if it's gotten to that point, what I'm saying.
What if this is the first time? What if this is the first time? Because if she's feeling insecure, obviously she's never done this before with this person. This person has never seen it all.
So she should be like, Donovan, I think you should see something.
Ooh!
and
no.
And if I don't cringe, we good. Like,
hold on. And then somebody said a real woman should not wear a wig, period.
Oh, wow. I don't know about that.
Whoa, Levon, you bold. Wow. What? First of all, okay, I ain't even...
we're going to have to
ignore.
Listen, we got to do a part 2 to this. We got to do a part 2 to this. Clearly, people are just running it down. So I guarantee to everybody, and we'll work out the schedule with Devorah so that we can do a part 2, because so many comments. I'm looking forward to playing this one back and reading through all of them because they were firing off really quickly. But listen, we got something where we're working together. ATL, October 4th, Sweet Lounge, 375 Lucky Street. It's going to be off the chain. It's called The Relationship Script. And Devorah, you're going to be joining us. I'm super excited about that. Everybody that's in the area, I hope they need to come down and get those tickets real quick. Real talk.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, on the link for The Relationship Script is where you can get your tickets. And I'm going to give a 20% discount for 24 hours. 20% discount on tickets for 24 hours. So everybody go onto the link, get your tickets. I guarantee you it's going to be lit. If you think this conversation is something, you have no idea what's in store, ATL. No idea at all. And we might go live down there. Maybe not. For those who can't get there, I understand. But, yeah, it's going to be a problem. October 4th, ATL, Sweet Lounge, 6:30 to 10. Devorah Story is going to be joining us.
Yes.
XL Tribe is going to be in the building. Princess is going to be in the building. Pumpkin from Pluto is going to be in the building. Rob Mosley, Mike Moss, Mike the Gent, Big Man Culture, the whole night. It's going to be lit. All right?
My friend Dre said we wearing our wigs too.
Listen, you heard that. Wig gang is going to be in the building, okay? Wig gang is going to be listen, Lace Front gang is going to be out there, okay?
Tempo.
Okay. And Beard gang is going to be out there, and the Ponytail gang is going to be out there. It's going to be ridiculous, okay? It's going to be ridiculous. But no, we're going to have an amazing time. Gifts, giveaways, games. It's going to be all good, okay? Devorah, thank you for joining us, all right?
Thanks for having
Wednesday
me.
For West, hey, no problem at all. Every Wednesday, 9 p.m., the conversation is always lit. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in ATL in a couple of weeks. And in between time, of course, next Wednesday, I'll see you guys then, all right? We'll do part 2, Devorah. Peace.
All right, let's do it. Bye, y'all.
All right.
How do I get out of here?